First and foremost, giving honor and praise to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov. Giving double honors to 7130 South Chicago that taught me this truth. And giving double honors to all the brothers and sisters that the Creator has awoken in these last days. With that being said, peace and shalom. Alright, brothers and sisters, we're going to go into some lessons today. We're going to be talking about various topics. And, just like I always say, what's happening with the human family is that the human family is being, we can actually see the system falling. And, maybe about 20 years ago, when my elders and them used to be talking about this, I never questioned it and stuff like that, but a lot of the things that they were saying maybe 15, 20 years ago, we're actually starting to see these things now, you know. And one of my elders will always say that one of the ways that you will know the system is falling by quote unquote the breaking down of the system. And we can see that today. The Democrats and the Republicans are always at odds with each other. We see civil unrest with the nations around about. We see wars over there in quote unquote Ukraine. Ukraine is going against Russia. China is going against, Japan and all these different Asian countries that are associated with America. America is at war with everybody. You know, the moral decay of the people in this country, is at an all-time low. The women is destroyed now. The man is destroyed. So when you're talking about a breaking down of a system, you basically got to start from quote unquote within. And that's what's really happening. The system is breaking down from within. 1 second, let me cut my light on. So we can sit down and have a discussion. So when we're looking at this, we're looking at the decay of the system. And like one of the ways that you're going to know that the system is falling, it has to fall, quote unquote, from within, right? So the first scripture that I want to go to, the 9th chapter. We're not going to waste no time, because this may be a lengthy video, right? But let's look at some. Let's turn to the 9th chapter of the book of Revelation. And we're going to start reading from the first verse. It says, "And the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth." And most of us really don't understand what that means. So let's look at this. Let's turn to the 12th chapter of the book of Revelation. And I'm going to start reading at the 7th verse. And it says, "And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels." So there was a war in quote unquote the spiritual realm. And like my teacher will always say, that the spiritual realm is more realer than the material realm. See, what we live today is we live in quote unquote a material realm. See, but the first falling started in the spiritual realm when Michael, which is, or Michael, which was the archangel, you got to look at Michael as, a war general. See, his job is to, you know, before the Most High come out, if the Most High got to come out, you know, that's overkill. But the first cat that he's going to send in terms of going to war, he's going to send Michael. Michael is what you would call the war general. So Michael was going against the adversary. See? So it says Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, which is the adversary, right? And the dragon fought and his angels, 8th verse, and prevailed not. Right? So they lost the war that was going on in the spiritual realm, right? So it says, and the drag, it says, no, it says, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven, right? So what's happening is when Michael loses the battle in the spiritual realm, the adversary is kicked out the spiritual realm, and now he's about to go amongst the material realm. Right? So the 9th verse says what? And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels was cast out with him. Right? So, you know, he was kicked out of his first estate. So now he has come amongst the human family. So what are the scripture that we gonna go back? We gotta go back. We gotta go look at Genesis. I believe the 2nd chapter. We're gonna find it, right? We're gonna put a placeholder right here. We're gonna go to Genesis, 2nd chapter, right? We at the 2nd chapter yet? All right. So we at Genesis, the 2nd chapter, and trying to figure out where am I going to start at. I'm going to start at the 9th verse, right? So it says, I'm going to start at 8. It says, and Yah Elohim planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed, right? So man represent the human family that was on the scene, because when we talk about Adam and Eve, they're not talking about two people. They're really talking about a race of people, right? So it says, and out of the ground made Yah Elohim to grow every tree that was pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So when we was talking about the adversary being cast out of the spiritual realm, now he's coming amongst the material realm. When it's talking about, um, it says, out of the ground made Yah Elohim to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight. So this is the material realm, right? So uh, you know, trees got vegetation, they got fruit, they got all type of stuff on the trees. So a lot of this stuff is symbolic, right? It's symbolic of of the brooding of the planet before the fall. You know what I'm saying? Because you got natural resources, you got water, so you got food, you got air, see, you got gold, silver, platinum, you got everything on the planet. The planet, how it looked in its first inception, is far different from where it looked today. See, so when it says the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, who is that? Uh, that's the creator. See, that that's really the creator and his knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Because when man, the Adamic race, is on the planet, they got to be coached on how to cultivate the planet and how they supposed to conduct themselves on this planet. See, so the tree of life is really the spirit of Yah. So, and it says, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So the knowledge of good and evil is really the adversary, brothers and sisters. We're gonna prove that, and when we go to the third chapter of the book of Genesis, right? So it says, one second, let me see something, because I don't want to read too much. I just want to hit key points, and I'm going to expound on it. So the 15th verse says, and Yah Elohim took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And Yael commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat. See? So this is the Most High instructing mankind on how they supposed to conduct themselves on the planet. See? What is clean and what is unclean. See, this is really what the Creator is saying. See, all this tree and stuff like that, that's just symbolic, you know, that's symbolism. But really, he's telling us how we're supposed to live on the planet according to what? His laws and statutes. This is what we're supposed to be living by. So when people start talking about the law started with the nation of Israel, that's not true. See, his customs and traditions started way in the beginning. See, but these are what you would call the beginning stages of these customs and traditions that the Creator had set on the scene for humanity to live by. So it says, but the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eat of it, it says, for in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. So what is he saying? See, like I said, what is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil? See, it's the spirit of the adversary, brothers and sisters. See, it's his characteristic. So, what the Creator is doing, he's warning the human family, the foreparents, on not to follow the adversary. Well, you ask yourself, well, why the Creator didn't destroy him when he started to rebel against the Creator in the garden? The reason why he didn't destroy him, because why? Man, the family gonna have to make a choice. Either they going to follow the Creator willfully, or they gonna follow the adversary. See? So when he's saying, um, but the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die. What does that mean? If you take on his spirit, his characteristics, his thought patterns, you're gonna die. That's what that's talking about. So we see right here in the beginning, the second chapter of the book of Genesis, the Creator is warning the foreparents not to follow the adversary. Because in the church, um, in their ignorance, and a lot of us is ignorant because we don't know better. We don't know how to go into the Bible and to break down symbolisms. Understanding the story of the Bible is very difficult for us, is because we're not being taught by the Creator. We're being taught by the adversary, believe it or not. See, because the adversary has transformed himself into the Creator. So you have a lot of us, instead of us uh, following the Creator, we're following the customs and traditions of Lucifer. See, and we don't know it, right? So, like I said before, when he says, "Thou shalt surely die," meaning that what? If you take on the spirit of the adversary and start manifesting his customs and traditions in the earth, his lifestyle, his characteristics, you're gonna die. See? So it says, and Yah said, it is not good for man. Uh, it says, I don't need to read that. I don't need to read that. We can leave that, because that's symbolic too. See, Adam is not laying down, uh, and a woman come out of his ribs, boom, just like that. No, brothers, that's symbolic. She's already there. See, everything is in place. He's instructing the human family not to follow after the adversary. See, this is what he's telling us, right? So let's look at something. The third chapter of the book of Genesis, the first verse, it says, because in Revelation, it called the adversary the dragon. But check this out, what he called him now. It says, the third chapter of the book of Genesis, the first verse, it says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. See, because um, he refers to the animals and things of this nature as beasts. See, but why is he calling him a beast? It's because he has taken on a beast mindset. See, he's contrary to the Creator. So the Creator is looking at the adversary uh, like an animal. See, it's because like a wild animal that's not being that cannot be tamed. See, so in the 12th chapter, when it says that the devil and his angels came amongst the human family, just paraphrasing, this is what this is talking about. See, Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yah had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, have Yah said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? See, this is the conversation. But we got to understand that um, the Most High had already warned the human family of the adversary. So he had already warned us of the adversary, because the adversary was called basically the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Because in order for you to deal with it, it got to be some good there. But the whole premise, the foundation is built upon what? Evil. See? So the conversation that he's having a conversation with the female, right? So he said, Yea, uh, have El said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. See, this is the conversation. And when he's talking about the tree, what is he talking about? He's talking about what? Lifestyle, characteristics. See? And later on, it's going to be what? Customs and traditions. Because when we talk about culture, culture could be broken down in many aspects, because you have this thing where kids are running around killing people. That's a culture within itself. You have the music culture, you got the basketball culture, you got science culture, you got a lot of these cultures. So what is the culture that he's talking about? He's talking about a customs and traditions that's contrary to the creator. This is the conversation with the woman, right? Why? Why is he doing it? Because he's going to use the woman as he's going to use the woman as a weapon against her man. See, that's what's going on. He's going to use the woman as a weapon against her man. Whether you want to say it's two people, or you want to say that it's a whole race of people. See, it doesn't matter. See, but the woman is going to be weaponized against her man. Why is he using that? It's because you got to understand that this is the beginning. This is the beginning. Adam was not basically spiritually mature enough to really handle the woman like he's supposed to handle her. This is why the creator, this is why the adversary is using the woman against the man. See? But I'm going to continue with that. Let's look at this. It says, And the woman said unto the serpent, Ye may eat of every fruit of the trees of the garden. What is she talking about? What are they talking about? See, we shall follow after the Creator. See, this is who we supposed to follow after. We supposed to follow after His rules and His instructions. See, because a tree, like I said, got fruit, it got vegetation, it got all this type of stuff. And when you eat from a tree, the tree, it nourishes your body. See, it give you all the proper minerals and things of this nature that you need to sustain yourself. And you got to look at that same aspect with the Most High. See, the Most High got everything that's supposed to sustain you to live on this planet. See, but the adversary, see, he's doing what? He's going to instruct the woman in another way. He's going to instruct her under his vibration. So what she just saying is that, and the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden. See, meaning that what? We under the vibration of Yah. That's really what she's saying. See, just like our ancestors in the 19th chapter of the book of Exodus, when they said, all that you say, Yah, we will do. See, this is basically the same conversation. See, we supposed to follow the customs and traditions of the Most High, right? But check it out, third verse. But the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yah have said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. So, like I said before, what what fruit is she talking about? Is it a fruit out here that we're not supposed to be eating? See, no, brothers and sisters. The fruit that they talking about is the doctrine and the teaching of the adversary. See, we were just reading from the 7th chapter and the 7th verse, 12th chapter and the 7th verse on the adversary being banished out of the spiritual realm. Now he has come amongst the material realm. See, now now he has come amongst the material realm. We was reading the 2nd chapter when the Creator was saying, you can um, eat the fruits of the trees, but the fruit of the tree of the garden thou shalt not eat. See, the fruit that they was talking about that you should not eat is what? You should not take on the spirit of the adversary, because what? He's against me. But it goes to that conversation. Well, if the adversary was against, if he failed or he rebelled against the Creator in heaven, why would the Creator allow him to come amongst the human family? That's not a just God. Why is he doing? Because why? He has given man a choice. See, just like he gave the adversary had a choice to go against the Creator, because there are certain writings when you read the Apocrypha and stuff like that, read different books. There's different writings that said that, and some of it we go with that the Creator created mankind to be worshipped. See, we don't know how powerful we are as beings. See, we were supposed to be. See, the angels are quote unquote ministering spirits. They supposed to do our bidding. They supposed to do our bidding for us, right? But when the being was shown before the adversary said, "Man, I'm not finna worship that. I'm more powerful than he is. He gonna worship me." See, he gonna worship me, and this is one of the engagements that started the war in heaven, because he didn't want to bow down. See, he didn't want to bow down. Actually, the adversary was more powerful than Michael, because you got the Father, you got Yah, which is the Son, and you got the adversary, and then you got the angelic host. See, that the adversary probably he was the third thing that was created. See, and he was instructed to do what? To be up under mankind. This is why the adversary has a hatred towards mankind, because he's supposed to bow down. The adversary is not considered in the Son family. See, the angels are not children; they're just ministering spirits. You know, they just like that movie called The Butler. They supposed to do what we tell them to do. But the adversary raised he rose up in pride and said, "Look, I'm not finna worship these beings. They're gonna worship me." So the war started. The Creator relinquished some of his power that he had, and now he has come amongst the human family. See, and why am I going here? I'm going here is because we have to understand where all this stuff is taking place, why the world is in utter chaos that is in today. See, why the world is in chaos today? Why every time a person write a treaty, they write a treaty down and say we're not going to have wars anymore against each other, and then the one person to agree with it, then the other person, they not the person that writes the treaty down, he don't agree with it. See, he goes against his own treaty that he wrote down and everybody in the group signed. Why is that? Why are people running around taking natural resources? Because the war that's going over there in the state of Israel, it's not about um, the Palestinians or the Iranians are terrorists. No, that's not what's going on. It's the fake Israelites over there that's following the religion that's uh, centered around Judaism. They're using the Bible to go over there and gangster land. This is what they're doing. See, they gangstering land. Why is America funding Ukraine to fight against Russia? It's because the same thing. They want to control the natural resources. But why are these people doing this stuff? It's because of what we're reading in the beginning. Because, brothers and sisters, we have taken on the mentality of the adversary, and we don't even know it. We don't even know it. See? And what has happened over the years, millenniums, centuries, right? Decades. I think a millennium is 1,000 years, centuries is 100, decades is 10 years. See, all of these things. What has happened? The world is in the it done got to the point where it's about to do what? It's about to blow up. See, and I'm not saying the world that we stay on today is going to be blowing up, right? But I'm saying the people that's on the planet, this is why we're acting like this. The Creator say, uh, keep the Passover. No, we want to keep Easter. The Creator say, don't uh, follow my feast days. Feast of Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, the Sabbath, the Feast of Weeks, um, any feast day that the Creator established in the earth. Man can't go against it. See, why are we doing this? It's because we have welcomed into our life the spirit of the adversary. This is why we're doing this. Why are these kids raging in the streets? Why are they killing one another? It's because we have taken on the spirit of the adversary. See, why do your president of the United States, why is he waging war against everybody? Why is he waging war against the American people? Because he's under demonic possession. See? Why did that man over the week, why did he kill his 8 children and left his wife severely wounded? Because he's under the influence of the adversary. So, you know, what is the powers of the adversary since his powers have been relinquished? What is the power that he used today? He used thoughts, ideas, and suggestions. These are the three powers that he has. So when the lady wanted to leave her husband because for whatever reason she tired of being with him, the adversary got in his head and said, man, she ain't supposed to leave you like that. You supposed to be in control of the situation. You uh she ain't supposed to leave you like that. I need you to kill her and kill those children. And that's exactly what he did. He killed those children. He almost killed the woman. You had another situation where a young brother was 19 or something like 18, 19. He walked up to a 16-year-old girl and he told the girl, he say, uh, just like any other guy, they see something nice, they want to talk to it, they say, hey, let me get your number. But the girl say, well, I don't want to give you my number because I don't give my number out, you know. And she probably said it kind of raunchy, you know, but that's her right. She don't want to give out her number. She don't have to give out that number. So he was so enraged with her rejecting him, man, he body slammed her on the floor and beat her up. I just saw something with a girl, a lady, a young lady, she wanted to have an abortion. She wanted to have an abortion, right? And then the guy, no, I'm going too fast. The guy that she was pregnant by wanted to have an abortion. Lady got pregnant by a guy. He wanted her to have an abortion. She didn't want to have one. And the next thing you know, he beat her up and kicked her all in her stomach, tried to make her have an abortion by force. Why is he doing that? It's because of what we're reading right here. Because he has taken on the knowledge of good and evil. See? And this is what the whole family is under the influence. Even me. See, the person that's on the couch. See, we gotta be honest, y'all. We're all struggling with something. We're all struggling with something. All these men out here walking around with dresses on, messing with other men. They're under demonic possession, brothers and sisters. So, from a spiritual aspect, we're raging. We have declared war against the Creator because of the lifestyle choices that we're making. And as a result, the Creator has done what? Because when the Creator, so in the Bible, when it talks about judging or judgment, this is the Creator doing what? Declaring war against the human family. Because the human family has declared war against the Creator. Well, Yahshua, how do the family declare war against the Creator? Because of your lifestyle choices. Because We're eating from the tree of what? The knowledge of good and evil. See, you know, in the Bible, there's sayings you can't eat pork. Pork is considered unclean. You got a dietary law. But really, the dietary law, even though it's a physical thing, is really spiritual too. It's because what is the characteristic of a pig? A pig will eat anything. See? A pig will eat anything. Now you have animals that's considered clean, they'll eat anything too if they hungry enough. But in their natural state, they don't eat anything because a lot of the animals that we consider clean are really vegetarians. A pig is not a vegetarian. A pig is a carnivore. So when we talk about the dietary law, when we say you can't eat pork, you can't eat scavengers of the earth, you can't eat scavengers of the sea, and we eat it anyway because why? It's good and very good. That shows you the spiritual characteristics of the human family. See? Because a vegetarian or a person, whether he's a vegan, fruitarian, he doesn't eat no animal products, right? That's really a person that is quote unquote humble in a sense from a spiritual standpoint of view. If you're eating animals that are vegetarians, quote unquote, that's really a humble approach. But the human family, we just all over the place. See, so when we're eating scavenger food, it shows our mentality. See how we hunt the animals. We want to eat the lions. You got people today, they want to eat bears. See, they want to eat a bear. See, all this type. This is us uh, raging war against the Creator because of our lifestyle choices. And people say you can't judge me. Only God can judge me. But see, God is judging the human family right now. It's because the human family is at a they're at a rate right now where there's no coming back because the Creator is pushing them to the what? To the brink of no return. And that's when we go back and look at World War I and World War II, that's symbolic of the brink of no return. You saw millions of people going to war. They was catching a train, they was catching a cab, they was doing everything. They had one mindset to go to this destination and fight a war against each other when they was going against Germany and Germany was going against them. Germany and their allies. See, you couldn't do nothing. They was under one mindset. They was all going to war against each other. We got a thing in the streets. They today are saying, say when it's up, it's stuck. See, it was stuck. It was nothing, no negotiations or none of that. We finna go to war. And in that war, it was millions of people that died. It's estimated almost 300 million people died during that war. It was almost 300 million people that got hurt during the war. This how catastrophic that the war was. But like what we're looking at now, we're looking at people that has advanced themselves from a technological standpoint of view, and now they're building nuclear bombs. See, World War One and World War Two, this was the beginning, the baby stages of them creating atomic energy. They were using bullets. They said it's estimated they used over 40 billion bullets. That was their atomic energy during that time, those bullets. And in the midst of them using bullets, they was creating uh, more weapons of war, right? And in the midst of all that, you got these guys standing off on the side. They're creating atomic energy. See, the atomic bomb came up out of what you would call World War One and World War Two. So, brothers and sisters, when we looking at this, and it's almost 300 million people almost died during that war, both those wars. Well, how many of you think gonna die during this war? Because they got atomic bomb, they got nuclear bombs now. This third war is going to be catastrophic, and it's going to be in the billions of people losing their life. Let me give me a drink of water. See, this is going to be in the billions of people losing their life because the weapons of mass destruction has went to another level. They're not. They don't. Not that they don't use bullets no more, but they have advanced themselves. They're using bombs that can wipe out whole lands, whole cities. See, this is what they playing with now, and what the human family is starting to see. The creator and the adversary is still fighting a war. It has started in the spiritual realm, and now it has metastasized into the material realm. And this is what we're reading, right? So let's look at this. It says, second verse, third chapter, book of Genesis. It says, and the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yah have said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. So what is he saying? Man, we ain't supposed to follow you, man. The Creator done warned us. See? The Creator, the Creator done warned us about you. We ain't supposed to follow you. You contrary to the Creator. But check what he say. It says, it says, and the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die, for Yah doeth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as what? God, knowing, uh, ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. See? What is he telling her? Man, uh, the Creator knows that I'm the one that's going to come down and I'm going to show y'all how to be gods on this planet. See? You could be, all you got to do is worship me. Let's look at something. 2 Corinthians. You don't need the Creator. I just fought a war against them cats is because why? They want us to be up under their vibration. See? You got this planet. You can take over the planet. All you gotta do is bow down and worship me. See? 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians, 13th chapter. I think it's the 11th chapter. Let's see. 2 Corinthians, the 11th chapter. And I'm gonna start reading. I'm gonna start reading the 13th and the 14th verse. It says, now I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start at 13th verse because I'm gonna make a point. It says, "For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Yah." It's because see, you see Christ there, but brothers and sisters, Christ is not really supposed to be in the Bible, brothers and sisters. So when we start talking about spiritual warfare, you got to see it in Israel's history because the people that are rewriting history is under the vibration of the adversary. See? That's why instead of Christ, I said what? Yah. It's because the Messiah was under the influence of Yah. It tells you that in the 4th chapter of the book of Matthew, when he went into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. See, we're going to go there. It says, "For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Yah, and no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light." So, when they having this conversation, the apple died, but thou knowest if you eat from the tree that the Creator told you not to eat from, that you're going to be as gods, knowing the difference between good and evil. See, you're going to be as gods. You don't need the Creator. This is the same mindset that he had, and he left the spiritual realm, and he has what? Come amongst the human family. Right? So it says, "For Elohim doeth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil." And when the woman saw the fruit that it was good, what is they saying? The lifestyle, the customs, the traditions. See? It says, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise. She took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. So what's taking place? She started to practice a way of life that was contrary to Yah, and she presented it to her husband. Because notice when she started to do it, when she started to practice this stuff, ain't nothing going on when she eating from the tree, but everything is going to go kapoof when the man eat it. Because why? The man is the leader. Why is he eating from her vibration? It's because he started to worship his wife as a god. That's why he's able to do that. Because if he's under the influence of the Most High, if he's following Yah, he's not going to do that. He gonna put her in her place and say, "Look, no, we ain't supposed to be doing this. We supposed to be doing this. My house is gonna serve the Lord." But he's not doing that. He's willfully joining his wife in combatants against the Creator that made him. Now, when is all this stuff taking place? When is all this stuff taking place? When did the people uh, 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 go against? What day is they going against the Creator? You know, what day is this? It's the Shabbat. Because if you read the second chapter of the book of Genesis, it says 6 days. The Most High said everything that was created was good and very good. But you notice he never said that for the seventh day. He never said that for the seventh day. Why is that? It's because it is the day of rest, the Shabbat, where the human family rebelled against the Most High. So in actuality, we're still in the seventh day. Because the seventh day is not good and very good, because this is the day that the human family waged war against the Creator, and this is where we've been at ever since. See? Let's continue. It says, and when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the adversary, that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be desired to make one wise. What is that? They're going to be worshiping the adversary as God. They're not worshiping the Creator. Don't we do that today in the symbolic situation of falling down, worshiping idols? This is what we're doing today. We're not worshiping the Creator. We worshiping the gods that we have set up with our own hands. So this is her worshiping the adversary, taking on his customs and traditions, and then she gonna hand it off, right, to Adam, and he's gonna do the same thing. So this is them doing what? They willfully going against the Most High. This is why We're in trouble today. This is why we're in trouble. It's because what happened millions of years ago. People say the earth 6,000 years. You stupid. See, and I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just respectfully, we're stupid, y'all. This earth been here for millions of years, probably trillions. So the stuff that happened from the beginning, this is why we're dealing with the situation right now. So it says, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. Because why? He wasn't following the Most High. He's following what she doing. He man, he done saw that woman. He bonded with her. He fell in love with her. She probably was beautiful. He doing what she saying do. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, he's following her vibration. And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. What is that? It's just symbolic. It's symbolism, because when you go to I forget what chapter that is. Every time that the nation of Israel was sin against the priest, they had sinned against the Most High. They gonna put on an apron, and they gonna douse themselves with sackcloth and ashes. See, because why? Because they sin, right? So this is just symbolic of them what they trying to hide from the Creator. Because where is all this stuff taking place? It's taking place in the mind. See, it's taking place in the mind. She's out there in the cool of the day doing what she doing, and the adversary did what? He talked to her in her spirit. Because where's the Creator? The Creator is in your mind. See, He's talking to you in the mind. That's why I said, he that worship him must worship him in what? Spirit and in truth. The book of Job, 38th chapter, I believe the 7th verse, talks about what? Man is a spirit, and the inspiration of him is of the Most High. I'm just paraphrasing. But man is a spirit, the Creator is a spirit, and we supposed to talk to the Creator spirit on spirit. But there's a new spirit that then came into her mindset and then did what? Coached her into doing something that's contrary to the Creator, and she ended up doing the same. She talking to her husband. Her husband, he ain't no, he what? He tender. See, I was gonna say the D word, but I don't want to say that. But he's simping. He supposed to tell this woman, hey, we no, what is we ain't doing that, man. That ain't we ain't supposed to be doing that. We supposed to be doing this. He didn't do that because he already was listening to her words. See, and now when it's talking about their eyes is open, what they knew that because they know we don't know how long that took. It probably didn't take. They probably didn't realize that right then and there, right? Like I said, the earth is a trillion something years old. It probably took them a while to realize what they have done. See, They didn't realize what they were doing. It's just like um, your mama or your daddy tell you don't put your hand on the stove. You curious, you steady looking at that stove with that fire on there. She done told you 100 times don't put your hand on that stove because it's hot. But you a little kid, you intrigued with the fire. Sometimes it's red, sometimes it's blue, sometimes it's yellow. You intrigued by this. And the next thing you know, you put your hand on the fire and get burnt. Then when you get burnt to the point where you got a blister on your hand. See? And that's what the human see, we didn't really understand the responsibility that we had until we lost that. See? So now they eyes is open, they done sew fig leaves together. What is that symbolic? It's symbolic of what? They knew that they had broke the law. See? What was the law during that time? You weren't supposed to follow the adversary. They did it anyway. You weren't supposed to eat from the tree. It says, and they heard the voice of Yah walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh amongst the trees of the garden. See? And they're not physically hiding themselves because, like I said, the Creator is talking to you in the mind. That's just simple. They trying to do what? They trying to hide from what they done did. See? And he said, he said, and Yah called unto Adam and said unto him, where art thou, Adam? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden. Where is he talking? He was talking to him in his mind. See? He was talking to Adam in the mind. I was afraid because I was naked and I hid myself. Why was he naked? Why is he naked? Because why? He broke the law. And he said, who told thee that thou was naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat? See, because he had already warned the human family. Don't deal with the adversary. It is, man, we done had a war in the spiritual realm. This being is out here. He has rebelled against me. See, he gonna come to you with all this type of nonsense. You ain't supposed to be listening to him. You supposed to listen to what I'm saying, and we didn't do that. And we rage against the Creator even to this day. This is why we rage. It's because of the human family. It says, not the foreparents, because we got that same thing on us that the foreparents have. And we're not spiritual enough to fight against the wiles of the adversary, y'all. That's why the book of First Peter, it says, where goest thou? You know, walking to and fro. Uh, the Creator said the adversary, where goest thou? Then the adversary says, what? I'm walking up and down, to and fro, uh, to see whom I may devour. We see the devouring right here. We ain't talking about devour. What person that I can see that I can come into their life and destabilize them, cause chaos and havoc. You know, my teacher used to always say havoc. See, we're reading this right now. See, it says, and they heard the voice of Yah walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh amongst the trees of the garden. And Yah called unto Adam and said unto him, Where art thou? He said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself. And he said, Who told thee that thou wast naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat? And the woman said, it says, and the man said, The woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. See, she the one brought me this lifestyle. See, he didn't want to take responsibility for himself. He the man. See, he's the leader. He gonna question the creator and say, man, this broad you done brought me, you did that. No, you did that. He should have told the creator, man, I done messed up, man. I done listened to this woman. But he rose up in pride and say, what? The woman that you done gave me, she done gave me this fruit. And now I done ate this fruit, and now my eyes is open. It says, and the man said, The woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. And Yah said unto the woman, What is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. You know, he tricked me. How he gonna trick you? And the creator already told y'all what the play was. What was going on? He had already warned the human family not to deal with the adversary. But the human family did it anyway. See? They did it anyway. See, at some point, we got to take responsibility for what we're doing. We're not doing that. This is why we're still in trouble. See? This is why we're still in trouble. Because instead of us repenting means you got to stop doing what you've been doing. We don't want to repent. We want to continue in the lifestyle of the adversary. You know, um, what's that? You got brothers, they be in poverty. They don't have nothing. And I'm giving you an example. You got a lot of brothers in poverty in America. They come from single households, single parent households. Mainly the woman is raising the children. And then the mother, she going to work, she trying to provide, but she can't, um, she's giving the child what he needs instead of what he wants. But he go to school every day, he's being teased by his friends uh, they barely can eat food and stuff like that because she doesn't make enough money to, you know, put food on the table like she should. But she's doing the best she can is because she's going to work every day to keep the lights, the gas, and stuff on and stuff like that. But he can't get the designer shoes. He can't get the designer clothes. She got to shop at uh, the low end stores. He gotta wear the hand me downs, right? Then the adversary come in your head and say, "Man, how long you gonna let these studs tease you in the school?" But see, when you in school, you watching the other guys in school. Uh, they start selling drugs. They get money. They running around. They got the ears of the people. They got designer shoes. They got all this money in their pocket, and you struggling. You know, he trying to give you some stuff, but you telling him, look, man, I don't want to do that, man. I don't want to do that. Next thing you know, the Lou done got in your head and say, look, man, how long you gonna let your mama struggle like that, man? You gonna let your mama struggle like that? All right, you gonna let her struggle like that? Y'all can't even put no food on the table. Your mama needs your help, man. Next thing you know, you in the streets, man. You in the streets. You done made all this money. You done bought your mama a house. Done got you a house. You got kids, all this type of stuff. Then the next thing you know, you in prison for life. Cause you a king. You done got brought up on kingpin charges. You in jail for life. Then you watch your whole family, all the people that you done did stuff for, they don't even look out for you in prison. You watch your mama die off, right? Your kids destroyed because why? It's because these are the consequences when you listening to the adversary instead of listening to the creator. See? And then we live in a poor environment. Instead of us, see, when you live in a poor environment, you're living amongst savages. Everybody is afraid of one another. And what I mean, they ain't necessarily afraid when they see each other outside. What I mean, afraid, they don't know how to come together. See, back in the day, when black folks was in slavery in this country, they used to come together, pull their nickels and dimes together and build stuff with each other. Today, we don't know how to do that. We all scared of one another. I'm scared to give him $100 because I don't know if he gonna do the right thing with it. I'm scared to talk to this person. Next thing you know, we at odds with each other, right? But let's look at something. It says 14, and Yah said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly thou shalt go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. So when the Creator is talking like this is what you would call slang. See, what does that mean? That means that because when they was doing this, they built a society and social order that was contrary to the Creator. So you got to understand, humans have always been builders. See, they built a society and a social order that was contrary to the Creator, and as a result, it failed. See, so the Creator is telling the adversary, look, everything that you build is not. It's just like if you build a house. If the house is not built upon a solid foundation, it's gonna fall. See. So when it's talking about um, thou shalt eat, um, upon thy belly thou shalt go. He's not literally turning into a snake. If that's the case, well, why we don't see him today? Why he ain't slithering around somewhere? It's because it's all symbolic speech. It's symbolism. You got to be able to break down the codes and the symbols to understand what the Creator is saying. And I'm going to tell you something. It's hidden for a reason. It's because everybody that pick up this Bible is not really going to understand what the Creator is talking about in these last days. It's because why? The tree of the knowledge of good and evil has crept its way into the Israelite narrative, see? And the world, people today, they don't even understand that the black man and the woman is really the saviors of the whole entire human family. We don't even recognize that ourselves. And as long as we own the flow, the world is going to be in utter chaos. So it says, and Yah said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, above every beast of the field, upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. Whatever society and social order that you build, if it doesn't have me in there, it's gonna fall. Look at all these great kingdoms, these so-called great kingdoms that was created. What happened to them? They're not there anymore. They talk about Rome. They talk about Greece. They talk about the Medo-Persian Empire. They're always talking about Egypt. See, they always talking about Egypt. You know, we come into the knowledge to understand that the term, one second, that the term Egypt is basically a Greek term. That it was that the land was called Kemet. Uh, that the land was called Kemet, and Kemet stands for. It really deals with chemistry, and that this was the society and the social order that because when you deal with chemistry, you're dealing with science, and that's basically uh, not trying to be all deep. Egypt or Kemet was basically a society and social order that was ruled by the enlightened ones. See, if you came out of Egypt, you were quote unquote the enlightened ones, right? But where are these society and social orders today? They all fail. They all fail. And then we had many small societies that was on the brink, right? They failed too. Um, Germany under white supremacy. See, you had different Asian dynasties and all that. They all failed. You had dynasties over here in America before the invasion of the so-called white man. They failed. You just had a mass shooting out there in Mexico where they was walking around the pyramids and stuff. Well, Egypt, um, that's the beginning stages of the building of the pyramids. That shows you that the black man was circumnavigating the seas way before the so-called white man, because the black man came over here before the invasion of the white man. See, and they were building quote unquote pyramids and stuff like that. But the 14th verse is just saying whatever the whatever the adversary builds is going to be destroyed, because you're really warring against me. You warring against divine order. 15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, between thy seed and her seed. It says, and this shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. What is that talking about? See, when she started to have kids, it's gonna do what? She gonna bring forth kids that's gonna try to follow the Creator, and you're gonna have kids that's gonna rage against the Creator. See, and we see that through the concept of Cain and Abel. Abel wanted to follow the Creator, and the Creator looked at him as his son or somebody that's following him. Then next thing you know, his brother rose up in anger and killed him. See, that's what that's talking about. See, the civil wars that the nation of Israel had amongst each other. Thou shalt bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise thy heel. See that? So when the woman is gonna have kids, there's gonna be what? There's gonna be an ongoing fight between them. See, it says, "Unto the woman, he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception." Now, when they see the conception, they go, "Man, that's talking about the immaculate conception." No, that's not. See, conception means what? Basically, to do what? Conceive, y'all. You ain't talking about no immaculate conception. But see, we gotta watch words. It's because why? It's because the adversary then came in here, and a lot of us cannot identify the adversary when we see it. See, this is this is the problem that we have, because majority of these wars that's going on today, brothers and sisters, believe it or not, is disguised up under, politics, but really these are religious wars, because the wars that's being fought today is against Christians, Muslims, Jews, and other religions that then came on after the fact. Buddhism, Hinduism. These are all religious wars that's going on. See, it says, "Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule." Meaning that he gonna hate you. See, you're gonna lose the power that you once had, is because the woman, uh, she's supposed to, even though the man is the head, but they both is the yin and the yang. She done lost that. See? Now this man, he gonna hate her. See? And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree, took on the spirit of the adversary. It says, in which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake, and sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Because men are builders. Men are builders, y'all. They build societies. See? They build social order. So that's all he's saying. When you build something, you're not going to see the fruits of your labor. You're not going to see the fruits of your labor. It's because you have rebelled against me. And you're going to have that same mindset until what? Until you die. Your breath going to start stinking. Your body is going to deteriorate. I don't care if you become a vegetarian, you still going to die. You may live a little longer, but you're going to die. See? Under me, you could have lived forever. But under the adversary, you, you, you finna lose the knowledge on how to live. Because the man is he a builder, he building, and the woman gonna build too. But while they building, they're gonna lose the knowledge of self on how they supposed to be living. Because why? They under the vibration of the adversary. It's just like your mama or your daddy telling you as a kid, look, you shouldn't be doing that. Why you messing with this guy? Why you messing with this girl? She too fast for you. He too fast for you. You in your ignorance, you gonna say, man, I got this. You ain't got it, nigga. You ain't got it. Next thing you know, you get hooked up with these people. You have these kids, and the next thing you know, you got chaos and confusion. That's what the Most High saying. Because you have willfully followed the adversary. Now I gotta hurt. Now I gotta put some pain on you now. Just like the adversary told you that you could be gods, you could have been a god up under me. See? But you didn't want that. You didn't want that. You wanted to do this. Now you gotta deal with the consequences of your actions. It's gonna take you 900 and something years to lose the knowledge of self on how to live. Isn't that what happened to Adam? He died 900 and something years old. He didn't live to 1,000 years. So as a result of that, men and our men and women, right, in our disobedience, we have lost the knowledge on how to live. We're not supposed. My grandfather died at 90. He died at 97 before his 98th birthday. He was born March the 21st, 1928. He died like a week shy of his 98th birthday. 98 years old, that's really a young man. That's really a baby. That's like you a teenager in the eyes of the Most High. A day with the Creator is 1,000 years, right? like I said, this gonna be a lengthy, right? But we can go back to the book of Genesis, but let's check this out, right? We at the ninth chapter of the book of Revelation, and I'm gonna start reading because this is what I was talking about. The ninth chapter of the book of Revelation, right? So it says, and the fifth angel sounded, because see, this is where we at. But we're in the book of Revelation now. Bruh, we're in the book of Revelation, bruh. You feel me? We're in the book of Revelation. This 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 is the championship round. It's all to take. It's all to take all now. It's take all now. This is game 7 of the championship. It's either win or go home. That's what this is. And a lot of us, because we so caught up in our everyday activities, we don't even understand that this is game 7 of the championship. This is win or go home. When we talk about going home, see, the people that's going home is the people that's going to be destroyed. The people that's going to win is the people that's going to be in the kingdom. So it says, and the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth. And like I said, the star is symbolic of who? The adversary. See? Because this is talking about the beginning. This is talking about the beginning when he came amongst the human family. And it says, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. What is the bottomless pit? What is the key? Like I said, all of this is symbolism. It's symbolic. It's symbolism. You got to be able to break down the symbols of what the Creator is talking about so you can understand what he's saying. The key, symbolic of what? Rulership. And the bottomless pit is what? That's the earth, y'all. That's the earth in the chaotic state that it's in. It's because why? He made it chaotic when he came amongst the human family. It started with Adam, and then it trickled all the way down to where we at today. Fighting wars, rumors of wars, strife, envy, deceit. I just said before, y'all write a treaty. You write a treaty, you put it on the news, the treaty, we ain't gonna fight no more. Then somebody gonna break it. Or both of you gonna break it. Why are you doing that? It's because why? The human family don't look at each other as brothers and sisters. We look at each other, uh, you know, nationality is really a curse to the human family. We supposed to be the sons and the daughters of the Most High. Me being a German, you being a Frenchman, me being Dutch, you being British. That's not camaraderie. That's not camaraderie. See? And why is all this stuff happening? It's because of what happened in the garden. Because the destruction that happened in the garden later on brought on what we would call nationalities. Because when we was building stuff uh, in the earth, the Most High come down and confuse the languages. Why did he do that? It's because we was doing something contrary. We were building a society and a social order that's contrary to the Creator. See, the children of Seth and the children of Cain. Then that brings forth nationalities. My nation is greater than yours. There's no camaraderie in that. I don't care how many peace treaties you bring up. So it says, so the key is symbolic of what? Rulership over the planet. I think it's the 7th or the 14th chapter of the book of Isaiah. It talks about what? How he's going to be looking like the Most High. See? The key is symbolic of control, rulership. Because, if you're a janitor, you got all these keys. Um, Somebody get locked out of their apartment, who they call? They gonna call you because you got the master key. You got the keys to go into these people's apartment. So that's a sense of what? Power and authority. The bottomless pit is symbolic because when you look at the bottomless pit, bottomless pit, that's like in the ground, you know. It could be fire down there. It could be all type of stuff. So what is that symbolic of? The bottomless pit is symbolic of the earth in a chaotic state. This is what we living at today. People talk about peace. There's no peace. We gotta stop lying. Ain't no peace because we hate each other, even amongst our own nations. This is why the even though that's not a nationality, this is why black people are starting to like come against the Democratic Party. It's because now that they done found out that the Democrats, um, you know, hold on. On this camera, you about to walk out here in your joint. They done found out that the Democrats been selling out black people for decades. They've been doing this, getting all this money, these campaign contributions and all this type of stuff. They've been getting paid, and they ain't been giving black people what they supposed to have in this country. So what did happen? Now the black people starting to go against them, right? So what I'm saying is that even amongst your own nation, even though black is not a nation, uh, I'm just saying that even amongst your own people, you got chaos and confusion. So when it's talking about um, I done gave him the keys to the bottomless pit and stuff like that. This is the human family willfully joining the adversary in rebellion against the Creator. This is why the earth is at a state where it's at today. This is why the earth is messed up. This is why the water is destroyed. See, this is why the air is destroyed. This is why the food is destroyed. This is why the mindset of the people is destroyed. It's because we have turned the earth into a chaotic situation. And we're all under the influence because the key is symbolic also of us worshiping the adversary. We're all doing it. Second verse. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose smoke out of the pit, and the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened by the reason of the smoke of the pit. So what is that talking? Wars and rumors of war. See, not rumor, but wars that has taken place millenniums, centuries, decades. Uh, yeah, this is what's going on. And it says, and he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit as the smoke of a great furnace. Was that's talking about the earth in a chaotic state. All these wars that done took place. All these nations done fought against nations, conquering each other, killing the will, killing the women, killing the children. See, the children fighting against them. All this nonsense because they want to have rulership over the planet. And who are they following? They following Lucifer. That's what they do. It says, and the sun and the air were darkened by the reason of the smoke of the pit. See, because the sun is really a beacon of light. See, and the air, the air is just what? The wind and stuff like that. And that's symbolic of the truth not being able to what? Surface through all this chaos and confusion, y'all. They're not hearing the creator. They're not hearing the creator. They don't hear the creator. Because like I say, see, we are so destroyed as a people, we think that the creator is gonna come down out the sky, y'all. This is what I'm saying. We in the bottomless pit. Third verse. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power as the scorpion of the earth have power. Now people done broke this down. They done talk about it's gonna be real scorpion like being. No. The locusts are symbolic of different armies that are fighting against each other. See? Different armies that's fighting. And it says what? Uh and unto them was given power. They have power, and that's what we're looking at today. When Russia is shooting missiles off in Ukraine, Ukraine is shooting missiles off over there in Russia. It says what? Um, Unto them was given power as the scorpions of the earth have power. Because that's a small animal. I mean, a small creature, insect, but man, that thing got a power of a 10. It got power of 10 men. Because you got scorpions that can kill, and you got scorpions that can wish you was dead. This is how potent that venom is when they sting your behind. See? And that's what they talking about. See, all of these wars, these weapons of mass destructions that the human family done created because they worshiping the adversary. See? Let me take my shirt off. I'm getting hot. See? All these weapons of mass destruction that these cats done took on. See? Weapons of mass destruction don't start with atomic. They've been building stuff like that. It's just that today in 2026, we done advanced ourselves. We got bombs now that we can shoot from one city and it can go to a whole nother country in 30 minutes. This how advanced that we have gotten with the technology uh, under the influence and the vibration of Lucifer. See? So when it says, and there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power as the scorpion of the earth hath power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but those men which have not, men and women, because a woman is a man too, she just got a womb, right? But only those men which have not the seal of Yah in their forehead. Come on, man. So when they talk about the green thing, uh, the green thing is symbolic of what? The people that is preaching the gospel of the kingdom. See, the trees is symbolic of the Creator saying what? Telling the angelic being, don't hurt the society and social order until I have sealed my elect in their forehead. And who was the elect? That's the nation of Israel, y'all. That's the nation of Israel. And the other nations that's going to follow the nation of Israel. That's what I'm saying. The gospel of the kingdom got to be preached. So all these people that's going to be killed, they going to be the people that the Creator is not dealing with. We just saw that in World War I and World War II. We saw that in the Vietnam War. We saw that in many of these wars. These are the people that have what you would call the mark of the beast. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but they should be tormented 5 months, and their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. Because like I say, you got you got scorpions that can kill you, and you're gonna be tormented. Then you're gonna die, and then you got scorpions. They sting you. You wish you got stung so you can die by the other scorpion. So what is the Creator saying? In these wars, you're gonna have some people. They they gonna suffer. They gonna suffer, and we're seeing a glimpse of that in 2026 with these other countries. The satanic Jews, they're out here fighting the Palestinians. It's estimated they done killed almost 100,000 of those people. And you got people that that's been wounded by them wars by the satanic Jews. They they uh they still living, but they suffering though. They suffering physically and economically. See? Ain't no running water over there. Ain't no police. Ain't nobody coming to their aid over there. People guts hanging out, all type of stuff. And that's the sting of a scorpion that's not venomous. In those days shall man seek death and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. And we see a glimpse of that. And this is what's going to happen in this third world's war. See, we're already in the third world's war. We're in the middle stages of it. We can't see it because why? We still caught up in the bling bling, the materialism of the world. We caught up in politics, religion, and social living. And the shape of the locusts were like unto horses preparing unto battle, and on their heads were as it were crowns like gold, and their faces was as the faces of men, and they had hair as the hair of woman, and their teeth were as the teeth of lion. What is that symbolic of? It's just symbolic of what? When they go to war, what do they use their flags, y'all? See? The nations are at war with each other. And their teeth were as the teeth of lions. What is that? That's France. That's Germany. That's Great Britain. That's Luxembourg. That's all these countries. Because they got the spirit of what? Of a lion in them. See? Ready to go to battle. Because when a lion goes to battle, if he beats the head lion and he take over the women, the first thing that he's going to do is he's going to kill the children so he can raise up his own children with her. It's very rare that he's able not to kill off the children. It says, and the shapes of the locusts was like unto horses prepared unto battle, and unto their heads were as it were crowns like gold, and their faces as the faces of men. And they had hair as the hair of woman, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions. And it says, and they had breastplates as it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was as the sounds of chariots of many horses. See, these are the nations that are racing to battle against each other. These are the nations that has been in battle with each other for decades and centuries and millenniums. Check this out. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings to their tails, and their power was to hurt man 5 months. See, that's just symbolic. But the sting, when they talk about their tails and the stings, what is that? That's their tanks, y'all. That's their helicopters. That's their bombs that they're shooting. Conventional, ancient weapons of war, conventional uh, uh, weapons of war, and modern weapons of war that we're dealing with today. And they had kings over them, which is the angels of the bottomless pit. Meaning that what? They worshiping the devil, y'all. See? They were, when they says, let's read that again. And they had kings over them, which is the angels of the bottomless pit. And who is the angels of? See, This is them worshiping other gods. And these other gods are taking on they are worshiping the same gods that was the same angelic beings that was pushed out of the first estate. See, that's your Donald Trumps. That's your Barack Obamas. That's all these folks. They worship the devil, and they had kings over them, which is the angels of the bottomless pit, whose name in Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue have his name Apollyon. One woe is past, and behold, three come. No, it says, and behold, there come two woes more after. What are they talking about? They're talking about World War One, and after World War One is what? World War Two and World War Three. World War One and World War Two then already passed. Now we're in World War Three. So with that being said, brothers and sisters, hope you got something out of the lesson. Peace and shalom.